If they have done this to the best of us, what will they do to the rest of us? With these words, I greet you, Jamaica, the diaspora, and the world, in the powerful name of God Almighty. I am the great defender. I will delve right into the matter of the robbery of the greatest Jamaican alive on earth, the great Mr. Usain Bolt, whom I think is easily the greatest Jamaican alive anywhere on the planet. The greatest athlete of all times, the greatest sprinter the world has ever seen. He was robbed. And he was robbed in high places. He was not robbed in the streets of Jamaica. He was robbed in high places. The place where he thought his money was secure. The place where most Jamaicans think that his money and their money would be secure. The government has been very tight-lipped on the matter. They have refused to condemn the matter. In fact, they are tiptoeing around the matter. But Jamaica, I urge you not to let this one go. This one must be addressed. There are other people that have lost their money also. But the fact that Mr. Bolt is the face on this matter, he is the name on this matter. The other people, of course, they too deserve their money to be returned. But they can do the smart thing and allow the public and the world to rally behind Mr. Bolt, and then they come along and wave their flags too, because of course the effect will be trickled down. They must get their money back. Their money must be returned. This is appalling. I condemn this high level of theft, and how dare anyone to condemn the small man, because then you are doing worse. The small pickpocket that gets shot in the street because he picks a pocket even though it is wrong, and of course he deserves to be punished. But what about these high-profile criminals? What about these rich people who don't need to steal, who have no need to steal? They are already rich. It comes down to one thing: bad mind. Bad mind. Bad mind. They bad mind the man, they grudge the man, they envy the man because he rose from being a little country boy to become richer than a lot of them. They can't stand it. They can't handle it. They think their duty is to rob him. And so they got a scapegoat. They got a woman to come forward, but she still has not confessed to robbing Bolt. She has confessed to robbing others. But who really robbed Mr. Bolt? You would be surprised if you know who it was. The people in these institutions that are hiding behind the weak and ineffective laws of Jamaica will be exposed. They have made one robbery too much and they have robbed the wrong man. Because the world is against the robbing of Mr. Bolt. The world sees Mr. Bolt as not just a national treasure, but an international treasure. The greatest man that ever graced the field of tracks. He has lifted the sports on his shoulders and have made track and field a better sport. He has caused even myself to become interested in track and field. And therefore, this man does not deserve something like this. This is not the way we thank our heroes. This is not the way we say thanks to the people that have done immeasurable service or unmeasurable service to their country and to the world. Jamaica is a better country today because Mr. Bolt was in track and field. And I want the people of Jamaica to hold these politicians accountable. And I don't want them to go off into some bankruptcy, which is a face mask that they use to say they don't have the money. I want the assets of these men and women that run these institutions to be immediately seized. Their bank accounts should be frozen. Their homes, their cars, everything should be seized. There should be, and I keep calling for, the Emergency Detention Act, where when things like this happen, immediately within 24 hours, the executives of these institutions must be immediately detained indefinitely until they get to the bottom of the matter. I have called for new leadership in Jamaica, and I'm calling on the people of Jamaica and those are in the diaspora who can influence those in Jamaica to tell them it is time for change. It is time for new leadership. There needs to be guardrails to protect the people. The banks in Jamaica are acting as a transition point from where the money is taken from the poor and just handed to the rich. They are taking your money, Jamaica, and they are swindling it over to the rich and powerful. Mr. Bolt rose from relatively humble beginnings, I assume, and he rose to prominence. He rose to greatness. He rose to wealth. And they envy the man. They grudge the man. They can't stand to see such a man who is so down to earth and so influential among the youths. They can't stand to see him with all this money. He earned it. He earned it in front of your very eyes. He ran the tracks in front of the eyes of the entire world. Not one penny of his money was not earned. He earned it all, and so he deserves it all. I don't believe that it is right to rob a man who have worked and toiled for his money like he did. He earned it. Oh, dare these bad-mind rich folks to rob Mr. Bolt. They don't even need the money. They are just greedy. And so my encouragement to Jamaica would be run on the banks and withdraw your money from the banks. Bring the country to a standstill until it is fixed. Because the only reason you have so few rich people in Jamaica is because you have so many poor people. And the only reason you have so many poor people is because you have so few rich people. The money from the poor have made the rich richer. They tell you what you have on paper, but if you go to the banks tomorrow, your money is not there. They are thieves in high places. They are robbers. They are scammers. And I say this unequivocally. Why are not these big wigs in handcuffs? In other countries, it would be worse than that. But until Jamaicans stand up for their heroes, stand up for the people that represent you, demand new leadership, every Jamaican should be eating, drinking, and sleeping adequately because your governments don't want it so. All they want to do is steal from the poor and give it to the rich. And if you are poor and you suddenly get rich, they envy you. They treat the people like criminals. I've had the unpleasurable experience of going into the bank in Jamaica and see all the questions they ask you. I hear them, the pertinent questions they ask when you bring your money to deposit or you want to make a withdrawal. They treat you like you have just committed murder. They interrogate you. I'm sure they don't ask this of the people that stole Mr. Bolt's money. The government in Jamaica failed to put guardrails in place to protect your money. And I say to you, Jamaica, how much of this will you put up with? How longer will you sit and suffer under the hands of these incapable men and women? Of these heartless men and women, oh dear, they sit there and allow the great treasure of the land to be robbed. Mr. Bolt has done more for Jamaica than all the politicians in Parliament, in the Senate, and every politician in Jamaica put together have not done 10% of what Mr. Bolt has done for Jamaica. So they are not very important at this point. Jamaica, I say to you, we have to stand with our hero. We will not allow them to rob him. We will not allow them to believe in the adage of a 9-day talk. This will not be a 9-day talk. The financial institutions of the land that have been robbing the poor people and giving them foolish excuses why they can't get their money. The insurance companies that refuse to turn over the payment to the relatives when their loved ones have passed away. They use technicalities and lies to protect themselves from paying over the money to those that deserve it. They had paid their dues, they had paid the installments, they have paid the insurance policies, and a lot of them have still not received their money. The banks that steal your money disappear as if Houdini works in the bank. They are no better than the scammers that they are condemning, the scammers that they keep quizzing you and pretending that you might have scammed money while you have 10 cents to even take to the bank. They are no better than the scammer in the street. So if they're not going to arrest these big wigs, might as well they release the little scammers that they arrested. Might as well they release them, because what about the big wigs? I say to Jamaica, demand Mr. Bolt's money. I call on the international community. I call on the government of the United States. I call on the government of the United Kingdom. I call on the Canadian government. I call on CARICOM leaders in Central and South America. I call on the leaders in the great continent of Africa, in Asia, in the Middle East. I call on the leaders worldwide and the track and field fraternity worldwide to add your voice to this protest. Please beckon to the thieves in high places in Jamaica, the thieves in the government, the thieves in the banking sector, to return Mr. Bolt's money and to return the money of the other investors that have lost their money. They too are feeling the pain. Mr. Bolt, we stand with you. I call on the world to join in this protest. Let your voices be heard. I call on the IMF, the World Bank, the Paris Club, all the financial institutions in the world that Jamaica runs to borrow money. Hold on to your money until we fix this country. This country must be fixed. We need the guardrails in place, and we have to take Jamaica to a first world status so that these things, even if they occur, it cannot be prolonged because there will be swift and decisive action taken against people that pull off this kind of thievery. The thieves in high places, the robbers. How dare they rob the great man? Jamaicans, we have to bring our protest to the banks. I urge the people, pull your money back. Find somewhere in your home, in a rock somewhere in the hills, to hide your money. They are thieves. They are thieves. And they are robbing you and they are treating you like criminals and second-class citizens in your own country. This cannot continue. You deserve better than this. Jamaica, believe it or not, 1/3 of your population has already run away. Everybody is running from such a beautiful place. This is too much. They have robbed the wrong man, and we stand against them. But in so doing, we will also protest for the rest of the people that have lost their money. I ask the world to put your voices in this protest. Mr. Bolt served the entire world, and so the world needs to do him a favor now. Lend your voices in protest. Lend your voices in protest, and let Mr. Bolt's money be returned. And in so doing, I am sure the money of the others should be returned. The countries that these men are planning to run to and hide, I ask you, the Jamaican government, what is left of you, if there are any men in your quarters with balls to have these men extradited back to Jamaica to stand trial, and I call on the government and the judges who keep recycling the criminals in the community, that this is not one that we want criminals to be recycled. I say to you all, do Mr. Bolt and Jamaica and the world justice this time. Enough is enough. There's a lot to say, and this has been going on for a long while. But we are tired, we're weary, we're fed up of the nonsense. How can you steal millions of United States dollars from one man's account, from Mr. Bolt of all persons? These men do not regard you, Jamaica. They don't have any respect for Jamaica and for Mr. Bolt. They are greedy, they are incompetent, they are ineffective. But I say, until we begin to punish them at the polls, let them realize that they will never see the highest offices in the land anymore. It is time for new movement. It is time for new leadership. We are tired of the back and forth with the same set of faces. They are thieves in high places. Your electricity bills are the highest in the world. Your water rates are among the highest in the world. Everything, they are squeezing and punishing Jamaicans. Mr. Bolt went so far worldwide to earn his money, and he could have put it away overseas. He brought it home. He brought it home to help to build our economy. And the thieves stole his money. They did not stick. We did not hear that the banks were invaded by gunmen. We did not hear that the truck taking the money to another location was hijacked. No, there were cameras there. There were security guards there. There were tellers. There were bank managers. There were supervisors. There was a huge amount of staff there, and yet the money disappeared. With all the protection they put around the money still went missing. So why not keep your money home? You tell me. This will be the beginning of the decline of the banking sector in Jamaica. There will be lots of protests in the streets of Jamaica because of few greedy men. The greedy men that think they should steal people's money are bringing the country to its knees. This will be the beginning of the end of the banking sector. So the country has got to come to a halt that it can be fixed properly. We need the great men of integrity in the land to rise their hands and to put up their hands to contest leadership positions in this country. We need men of integrity, men with dignity, men with vision, men with clarity of mind who believe in a solid future for Jamaica. We cannot continue to go down the dead-end roads with these men and women. They are criminals in high places. This is appalling. The Prime Minister has shown weakness in all of this. He has not come out and condemned the act. He is cherry-picking his words. He is speaking clearly. Why? I wonder why. As for the finance minister, the statements he made, he should have made those statements in his bathroom and rehearsed it before he came on camera. He sounded like a coward chicken. He sounded like a chicken that is staring at a fox. These cowards cannot run your country. They're afraid to even condemn the wrong. What says do something about it? It is too much. The people of Jamaica, it is time you raise your voices in protest. It is time you begin to question the integrity of your leaders. They have failed once more. And they have done this to the best of us. What will they do to the rest of us? With these words, I rest my case. Like, share, and subscribe. Spread the word so it can be heard. Join a new movement and let us stabilize our country so every Jamaican can live in a dignified manner. Thank you, and God bless you.